Gorgeous George, not George Wagner, but Gorgeous George has refused to wrestle with his partner, one half of the Southern Tag Team Champions, my man Pork Chop Cash. Well, the truth of the matter is, and let me set you rednecks straight on one thing, the truth of the matter is, the reason he's not going to be wrestling as partners anymore is because this man right here doesn't want him as a partner. Is that right, Pork Chop?
Right. You know the thing? I'm like this. I don't mind George riding on the wagon, but he's dragging his feet, and he's not holding up his partner. That's exactly right.
It's exactly right. This man, every match that they've defended their Southern Tag Team belts, this man has had to defeat both of his opponents. George Wagner, as he likes to call himself, Gorgeous George, was more of a liability to the team than an asset. Here's the athlete, here's the man that was winning all the matches, and Gorgeous George was just along for a free ride.
That's right.
And we're sick of that, right, Pork Chop?
Right.
We don't need anybody that's going to drag their feet on the wagon, so he is no longer going to be partners with Gorgeous George.
Because I tell him, if he gonna drag his feet, we'll get off the wagon.
That's exactly right, brother.
That's
And another thing that he's been complaining about, it's a little bit embarrassing when a man of his stature, and everybody in the community recognizes him when he drives down the street, and he's sitting across from him on the seat is a clown with a pink dress on. And he's sick and tired of that because it's a little bit embarrassing with Gorgeous George wearing those dresses around town. And another reason we don't want him for a partner is I did a little research. I know you saw Roots. I saw it. I did a little research into Gorgeous George's roots. He come out here telling everybody about his old man, Gorgeous George Sr., supposed to be the greatest wrestler that ever lived. You've all heard of him. Well, let me tell you the truth about him. He died drunk in an alley, broke, penniless. He was an alcoholic. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. He was a bum. And Gorgeous George tried to pattern his life.
You mean he was a drunk?
Come on, George.
He was a drunk.
I know what he said.
Hey, Lawler, I want to tell you something right now, you big garbage mouth punk. I'm sick and tired of listening to you run your mouth. I'm sick and tired of you running the Army. I'm not in your Army. The only reason I was is because it was a financial situation. The rest of these turkeys that you had in your Army was in there for a freebie. And you don't say things like that because...
Hey, come on. Hey, let's get somebody. Hey, come on, George. Get somebody out here. Hey, can we get some help out there? Come on. Hey, George, come on, bring it up now. Look out. Pull him out, will you? Lawler steps out here. Yeah, well, if you hadn't got out here running your mouth, there wouldn't anything happen like that. Let's see if we can get it back together here, Davey. Well, we're supposed to have had Pork Chop Cash and George Wagner going against Johnson and Kimball. Obviously, that's over on the side is, I said Tommy Gilbert, I meant Tommy Rich, who is Bill Dundee's partner, really working on Pork Chop Cash. There you see Lawler. You see what he did? He hit George with that riding crop right in the back. And Gorgeous George has had about all that he wants, as you can see right now. As he jumps right over that top rope, the action is still going on in the ring in there. Lawler is out there telling him it was all accidental and all those things. And there you see George pushed Lawler right smack down on the floor, boy, and he didn't have any hesitation about doing that whatsoever. Now, here Tommy Rich has got it on pork chop catch.
Something I want to talk to you about.
George, we got the film.
You know, this belt right here has meant a lot to me. It's meant a lot to me mentally, and it's meant a lot to me financially. But as far as I'm concerned, no more am I Jerry the King Lawler's partner. No more. I don't care about that belt. It's up for grabs now as far as I'm concerned. I want no more part of it. I want no more part of Jerry Lawler except to be in a ring against the man, not with him anymore. You know, things have transpired in my life that really hurt. I've done things that made you people mad at me. I've said things about you people, and I don't know how to ever make amends. But I want to say this to you. Jerry Lawler has said things about my daddy. You know, I can remember when I was younger, and I had a baseball game. And I called my dad, and I says, Dad, I says, all the kids are going to have their dads here at the baseball game, and you're the only one that won't be here. He said, son, don't worry about it. He says, I'll be home. He'd catch a plane, and he'd fly home, and he'd call up a promoter like in Chicago and say, I'm sorry I can't make it because my son has a baseball game today. That's how good my dad was. He didn't die a drunk in the alley with a whiskey bottle in his pocket like Lawler says. And when you talk about a man that's been gone now for 15 years, a man who still to this day is a household word, then you've got to be the lowest, the dirtiest, rottenest individual that ever drew a breath of air. And Jerry, I'm saying it to you because I'll take care of you. You don't ever say anything like that about my daddy. When I was younger, there was 3 meals a day on the table. I had good, clean clothes every day. I went to school. I went to church with my dad every Sunday. That's one thing he would never do is wrestle on Sunday. He wanted to take me and Mom to church. Well, you don't say things like that about my dad, ever. Because I don't care where it's at, Lawler. I don't care what it happens to be, the time of day or whatever. If I see you on the street, I'll go to jail, yes. Because I'm going to tear into you like a wildcat, man, like a chicken on a June bug. Can you understand it? You said things that hurt real deep. And there's thousands and thousands and millions of people who still know and remember of Gorgeous George. And what a great man he was. I remember I went to a match with him one time, and there was some black folks standing by the back of the door where he walked in. And they said, hello, Mr. George. They called him Mr. George. He says, what are you doing back here? Well, we don't have any money to get in. He said, here. He went into his pocket and pulled the money out and laid it right on him. Right there. They went around front and bought a ticket and went in to see him. That's what a great man he is, and you don't ever say something about him.